What are you doing here? Looking for you, of course, Maxine purred, ignoring Laura completely. Your mother is worried sick. And so am I. She looped her arm possessively through Philip's. Come on, Philip. Let's go home. Tama na tong laro mo. Laura watched them, her heart sinking. Ex-fiance. Laro. So, yun lang pala ang tingin ni Maxine sa ginagawa ni Philip. At si Philip bakit parang takot siya kay Maxine? Later that day, Laura saw Philip and Maxine talking heatedly near the old acacia tree at the edge of the village. Palihim siyang lumapit, trying to overhear their conversation. Hindi ko na siya mahal, Maxine. Matagal na tayong tapos. Philip was saying, his voice tight with frustration. Really, Philip? Maxine challenged, her voice cold. Or are you just saying that because of her? She gestured contemptuously towards the direction of Laura's stall. That tindera ng gulay? Don't tell me nahulog ka na sa isang tulad niya. Wala kang pakialam kung sino ang mamahalin ko. Philip retorted. Oh, I have every right, Philip. Maxine hissed. Remember our families. Remember the merger. Remember your condition. You need me, Philip. Whether you like it or not. Condition. Merger. Laura's mind raced. Anong ibig sabihin ni Maxine? That night, Philip seemed distant. Troubled. He barely spoke during their usual shared dinner. May problema ba, Pip? Laura asked gently. Philip looked at her, his eyes filled with a sadness that broke her heart. He reached out and cupped her face in his hands, his thumbs gently caressing her cheeks. Laura, he whispered, his voice hoarse. Wala to, okay lang ako. Then, he leaned in and kissed her. It was a desperate, almost painful kiss. A kiss filled with longing, with fear, with a love that felt so real, yet so forbidden. Laura responded, her own emotions a whirlwind of kilig, celos, and a dawning, terrifying understanding that she was in way over her head. When they finally broke apart, breathless, their eyes met. Mahal kita, Laura, Philip whispered, his voice raw with emotion. Laura's heart soared. Mahal siya ni Philip. For real? But then, he added, his eyes clouding over, pero si Maxine hindi ko siya mahal. Maniwala ka sa akin. The lie, so blatant, so transparent, hung heavy in the air between them. He had just kissed her, told her he loved her, and then denied his feelings for Maxine, even though Laura had heard their conversation. Sa maling mundo ako na in love. The words echoed in Laura's mind, louder this time, more painful. This world of Philip Montenegro, of secret engagements, of mergers and conditions, it was a world she didn't belong to, a world that would only bring her heart touch. The kilig she had felt moments ago was now tainted with a bitter taste of celos and a profound sense of impending doom. This love story, it was destined for a tragic ending. Or was it? Philip's lie, hindi ko siya mahal, hung between them like a toxic cloud. Laura wanted to believe him, oh, how she wanted to, pero yung narinig niya, yung nakita niya, it was too hard to ignore. She tried to pull away, to create distance, but Philip, in his pipi persona, was relentless in his quiet pursuit, his eyes always following her, his small gestures of kindness a constant, painful reminder of what could have been, what she secretly, desperately, wished was real. Pero ang di simpleng buhay nila sa Girhis. Mabini hindi magtatagal. Dahil ang balita tungkol sa paglalaro ng mahirap ni Philip Montenegro at ang kanyang ipakikipag-ugnayan sa isang hamak na tindera ng gulay ay nakarating na sa San Rafael, sa mansyon ng mga Montenegro. At si Doña Clarita, she was not pleased. One sunny afternoon, while Laura was arranging her vegetables at her stall, a sleek, black limousine, a car so out of place in the dusty San Rafael market, pulled up right in front of her. The tinted window rolled down, and out stepped Doña Clarita Montenegro, looking every inch the powerful, intimidating matriarch, her eyes cold as ice, her lips set in a thin, disapproving line. Laura manlapig, I presume. Doña Clarita said, her voice dripping with disdain. May I have a word with you? Privately. Laura's heart pounded. Takot. Kaba. Alam na niya. This was it. Doña Clarita didn't bother with pleasantries. Dinala niya si Laura sa isang mamahaling coffee shop sa bayan, a place Laura had only ever dreamed of entering. And there, amidst the clinking of expensive china, and the hushed whispers of the Alta Sociedad, Doña Clarita laid down her terms. Hisa, Doña Clarita began, her voice deceptively sweet, alam kong mabait kang bata. At alam kong naakit ka sa anak ko. Sino ba namang hindi, di ba? Philip is charming, handsome, and very, very rich. She paused, then her eyes hardened. Pero hindi kayo bagay, Laura. Langit siya, lupa ka. At yang relasyon nyo, kung ano man yan, kailangan ng matapos. Pero, Ma'am D. Laura tried to protest, but Doña Clarita cut her off. Don't ma'am me, child, she snapped. Let's be practical. Name your price, Laura. Magkano ang kailangan mo para layuan mo na si Philip? Para kalimutan mo na siya. Para bumalik ka na sa kung saan ka man galing. She pulled out a thick, white envelope from her designer handbag and slid it across the table. That's 500,000 pesos, Laura. Enough for you to start a new life, far away from San Rafael, far away from Divisoon. Lahat naman ng tao may presyo, di ba? So, what's yours? Galit. Lungkot. At isang matinding kahihiyan. Yan ang naramdaman ni Laura. Pera. Yun lang ba ang tingin nila sa kanya? Isang babaeng mabibili ng pera. Isang babaeng handang ipagpalit ang puso para sa salapi. With trembling hands, Laura picked up the envelope. She looked at Doña Clarita, her eyes blazing with newfound defiance. Hindi lahat ng bagay, ma'am, nabibili ng pera niyo, Laura said, her voice surprisingly firm. At yung pagmamahal ko kay Philip kung pagmamahal man to hindi yan for sale. She then did something that shocked Doña Clarita. She stood up, took the envelope, and with a steady hand, threw it side, itutuloy natin mula dyan. With trembling hands, Laura picked up the envelope. She looked at Doña Clarita, her eyes blazing with newfound defiance. Hindi lahat ng bagay, ma'am, nabibili ng pera niyo, Laura said, her voice surprisingly firm. At yung pagmamahal ko kay Philip kung pagmamahal man to hindi yan for sale. She then did something that shocked Doña Clarita. She stood up, took the envelope, and with a steady hand, threw it back at the older woman, the crisp bill scattering across the expensive marble tabletop. Sa inyo na po yung pera nyo, Doña Clarita. Hindi ko po kailangan yan. At lalong hindi ko po ipagpapalit si Philip o ang nararamdaman ko para sa kanya, para lang sa pera. Doña Clarita stared at her, aghast. No one had ever defied her like this before. No one had ever refused her money. How dare you, she hissed, her face contorted with rage. Sino ka para tumanggi sa alok ko? Isang hamak na tinderang walang pinag-aralan. Hamak na tindera nga po ako, ma'am, Laura said, her voice calm but unwavering. Pero may dignidad po ako. At may puso. Isang bagay na mukhang-mukhang wala kayo. With that, Laura turned and walked out of the coffee shop, leaving a stunned and furious Doña Clarita in her wake. The galit and lungkot Laura felt were immense. Pero may kasama rin itong pride. She had stood up for herself. She had stood up for her feelings, whatever they were, for Philip. When Philip found out what his mother had done, Laura, in her distress, had tearfully recounted the incident to him later that day. He was furious. He immediately confronted Doña Clarita. Ma, how could you? Philip shouted, his voice raw with anger, something Laura had never heard from him before. How could you peer aside to buy Laura off? How could you humiliate her like that? I was just trying to protect you, Philip. Doña Clarita retorted, equally angry. That girl, she's not right for you. She's after your money. She'll ruin our family. Ruin our family. Philip laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Ma, our family has been ruined for years. Ye have secrets, dia lies, dia this obsession with wealth and status. He looked at his mother, his eyes filled with pain so deep, it made Laura's heart atch. Hindi mo ba nakikita, ma? Si Laura siya lang yung nagparamdam sa akin na pwede palang maging normal. Na pwede palang sumaya kahit simple lang. Sumaya. Doña Clarita's voice suddenly dropped. Her angel replaced Tioy, chilling, desperate fear. Philip, anak, hindi mo naiintindihan. Ginagawa ko lang to para sa'yo. Para sa kapakanan mo. Kapakanan ko. Philip challenged. O kapakanan ng pangalan ng mga Montenegro. Hindi, Philip. Doña Clarita cried, tears now streaming down her face. Hindi mo alam ang sinasabi mo. May dahilan kung bakit kailangan mong pakasalan si Maxine. May dahilan kung bakit kailangan mong magkaroon ng tagapagmana. May dahilan kung bakit kailangan mong mabuhay ng matagal. Anong ibig mong sabihin, ma? Philip asked, a sense of dread washing over him. Doña Clarita looked at him, her eyes filled with a mother's unspeakable pain. And then, she dropped the bomb. The secret she had been keeping from him, from everyone, for years. Philip, anak, she whispered, her voice choked with sobs, may malubha kang sakit sa puso. Isang kondisyon na namana mo sa lolo mo. Ang sabi ng mga doktor, you only have 6 months to live. Maybe less. 6 months. The words echoed in the silent room, death sentence. Philip stared at his mother, his face ashen, his world crumbling around him. Laura, who had been listening from the doorway, felt her own heart stop. 6 months. Si Philip sipip niya mamamatay na? The galit, the lungkot, the takot, they were nothing compared to the overwhelming despair that now consumed them all. Puso mo, Philip. Pera nyo, Doña Clarita. Pero ang buhay, hindi nabibili. Hindi napipigilan. And Laura. Laura realized that the love story she had stumbled into, the love story she had started to believe in, was not just a story of rich man and poor girl. It was a story of borrowed time. A story of a love that was destined to end, before it even truly began. The revelation of Philip's terminal heart condition, his 6 months to live, death sentence, shattered Laura's world. Yung dating kilig, napalitan ng matinding takot. Yung pag-asa, napalitan ng desperasyon. Si Philip, ang lalaking minamahal niya, ang lalaking nagbigay ng kulay sa simple niyang buhay, mawawala na sa kanya. Hindi niya matanggap. Philip, after the initial shock, became distant. He tried to push Laura away. Umalis ka na, Laura, he'd say, his voice cold, his eyes devoid of the warmth she had come to cherish. Wala kang mapapala sa akin. Mamamatay na rin naman ako. Humanap ka na lang ng iba. Nang mas deserving sa pagmamahal mo. Pero si Laura, hindi sumuko. Hindi, Philip, she'd insist, her voice firm despite the tears welling up in her eyes. Hindi kita iiwanan. Nandito lang ako. Kahit ano pa ang mangyari. The pain was unbearable for both of them. Philip, trying to protect Laura from further heart touch, became cruel, almost abusive in his words. He'd insult her, belittle her, key aside to make her hate him. Para lang umalis na siya. Para lang hindi na siya masaktan pag dumating na yung oras niya. Si Laura naman nasasaktan. Sobra. Minsan, sa palengke, habang nagtitinda siya, bigla na lang siyang mapapahagulgol. Tanga ako, nay, she'd whisper to her mother's memory, sobrang tanga ko. Pero mahal ko siya. Mahal na mahal ko si Philip kahit alam kong wala ng pag-asa. The other vendors would look at her with pity, with concern. Pero si Laura, patuloy pa rin. Patuloy sa pagmamahal, patuloy sa pag-aalaga, kahit palihim. She would still leave food for him at his peep disguise, a small, run-down hut near the market that he rarely used now. She'd make sure he had clean clothes, fresh water. She'd ask Mang Canor, the old tricycle driver who was Philip's only other confidant in Niriv. Mabini, to check on him, to make sure he was taking his medication. Philip knew what she was doing. And it tore him apart. Bawat kagat niya sa pagkaing iniiwan ni Laura, parang may kasamang kirot sa puso niya. Bawat malinis na damit na isinusuot niya, parang may kasamang panghihinayang. He wanted to push her away, but part of him, very selfish part, craved her presence, her quiet strength, her unwavering love. Then, one stormy night, it happened. Philip, alone in his grand, empty mansion in San Rafael. Doña Clarita was in Manila, consulting with specialists, desperately trying to find a cure. A miracle, felt sharp, excruciating pain in his chest. Mas matindi pa kaysa dati. He gasped for breath, his vision blurring. He knew this was it ang katapusan. He stumbled out of the mansion, into the pouring rain, his only thought, his only desire si Laura. Kailangan niyang makita si Laura. Kahit sa huling pagkakataon. He managed to get into his car, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. He drove through the storm-lashed streets, his heart pounding, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He had to reach Kiril. Mabini. He had to reach Laura. When he finally arrived outside Laura's small, humble kubo, he could barely stand. Duguan na ang labi niya, yung pawis at ulan, humahalo sa mukha niya. He stumbled towards her door, his last ounce of strength failing him. Laura, he managed to whisper, before collapsing onto her doorstep, unconscious. Laura, awakened beside the sound of a car and a fainted outside, rushed to the door. The sight that greeted her made her scream. Si Philip. Nakahandusay. Walang malay. At duguan. Takot. Pag-ibig. Desperation. Lahat nag-umapaw sa puso ni Laura. She dragged him inside, her small frame struggling with his weight. She tried to revive him, her hands shaking as she performed see, her tears mixing with the rain on his cold face. Philip! Philip, gumising ka. Please! Wag mo akong iwanan. With Mangkanor's help, they rushed Philip to the nearest hospital, the same hospital where they had first truly met, the same hospital where Laura had been mistaken for a gold digger. The doctors worked frantically. Philip's heart had stopped. For the few terrifying moments, Laura thought she had lost him. Tumigil ang puso ko, she thought, yung sarili niyang puso, parang ayaw na ring tumibok. She knelt beside his hospital bed, holding his cold hand, praying with all her might. Diyos ko, parang awan niyo na po, she sobbed. Kunin niyo na ako, wag lang siya. Please, please, give him another chance. Give us another chance. Hours passed. The doctors were grim. Doña Clarita arrived, her face a mask of anguish, her usual arrogance gone, replaced by a mother's desperate fear. Even Maxine was there, looking pale and shaken, her usual conniving smirk replaced by a look of genuine concern. Then, a flicker. To beep from the heart monitor. Faint, but there. Philip's heart had started beating again. A miracle. Laura cried out, this sob of relief so profound, it shook her entire body. He was alive. Si Philip niya buhay siya. Pero habang pinagmamasdan niya si Philip na mahimbing nang natutulog, na medyo nagkakakulay na ulit ang mukha, isang malamig na katotohanan ang biglang tumampal kay Laura. Buhay si Philip. Pero yung 6 na buwan. Yung taning nandyan pa rin. This was just a temporary reprieve. A borrowed time. And then, another, even more devastating thought hit her. Siya. Si Laura Manlapig. Ang simpleng tindera ng gulay. Ano ang karapatan niyang umasa? Ano ang karapatan niyang magmahal ng isang taong mamamatay na rin naman? Buhay siya, si Philip. Pero ako ang mamamatay. Mamamatay sa sakit, sa lungkot, sa pag-asang walang kasiguraduhan. The takot and pag-ibig in Laura's heart were now at war. And she didn't know which one would win. Or if there would be any winners at all. Philip's miraculous recovery after the heart operation felt like a new beginning. Lahat akala okay na. The doctors were cautiously optimistic, saying that while his underlying condition remained, the operation had bought him more time, perhaps even years, if he took care of himself. Doña Clarita, overjoyed and humbled, finally, truly, accepted Laura, seeing her as the angel who had saved her son, not just once, but twice. Even Maxine, in a surprising turn of events, offered a sincere apology to both Philip and Laura, admitting her past mistakes and wishing them well before quietly leaving San Rafael to start her own life elsewhere. Para kay Laura, it was dream come true. Si Philip buhay. Ang pamilya niya, tanggap siya. Ang pag-ibig nila may pag-asa. One sunny afternoon, few weeks after Philip was discharged from the hospital, he brought Laura to a beautiful, secluded beach in Isla de Clara, a private island owned beside the Montenegros. He had arranged a romantic picnic, complete with her favorite food and a breathtaking view of the sunset. Laura, Philip began, his voice filled with a love so profound, it made Laura's heart soar. He knelt before her, pulling out a small, velvet box from his pocket. Inside was a simple but elegant diamond ring. I know our journey has been unconventional. Puno ng takot, ng sakit, ng mga pagsubok. Pero sa gitna ng lahat ng yun, isa lang ang naging sigurado ako. Ikaw. Ikaw lang ang mahal ko, Laura. Ikaw ang buhay ko. Will you marry me? Tears of joy streamed down Laura's face. Philip, she cried. Yes. 1,000 times, yes. He slipped the ring onto her finger. It was a perfect fit. They kissed, a long, passionate kiss that sealed their love, their future, their forever. For a moment, everything was perfect. Pero ang tadhana, minsan, mapaglaro. Minsan, kung kailan akala mo nasa iyo na ang lahat, saka naman ito babawiin. The next few weeks were a blur of happiness for Laura. Wedding preparations were underway. She was finally, truly, going to be Emrat Philip Montenegro. Pero, she started feeling unwell. Palagi siyang pagod. Madalas siyang nahihilo. At may mga pasa siyang lumilitaw sa katawan na hindi niya alam kung saan galing. At first, she dismissed it as stress, as the after effects of everything she had been through. Pero habang tumatagal, lalong lumalala. One day, while fitting her wedding gown, she suddenly fainted. She woke up in a hospital room, a different hospital this time, a more specialized one in Manila, where Dona Clarita had insisted she be brought. A battery of tests were done. And then, the devastating news. Rex Manlapig. Miss Manlapig, the kind-faced oncologist began, his voice gentle but grave, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but your test results came back. You have acute myeloid leukemia. And it's quite advanced. Stage 4. Leukemia. Late stage. The words echoed in Laura's mind, that sentence far crueler, far more unexpected, than Philip's. Gulat. Lungkot. At isang matinding, nakakabinging katahimikan. Buhay si Philip. Pero siya pala ang mamamatay. The irony was not lost on Laura. She had fought so hard for Philip's life, only to find out that her own was slipping away. She made a decision then and there. Hindi niya sasabihin kay Philip. Ayaw niyang masaktan ito ulit. Ayaw niyang maging pabigat. He deserved to be happy, to live his life, even if it was without her. So, she did the hardest thing she had ever done. She disappeared. One night, while Philip was away on a short business trip, his health had improved significantly, and he was slowly easing back into his responsibilities at Montenegro Corp. Laura packed a small bag, left short, heartbreaking note, and vanished. Philip, mahal ko, the note read, patawarin mo ako. Pero hindi ko na kaya. Masyado na akong pagod. Masyado nang masakit. Kailangan ko nang lumayo. Para sa'yo. Para sa ating dalawa. Please, be happy. Find someone else. Someone who can give you the lifetime of happiness you deserve. Huwag mo na akong hanapin. At huwag mo akong kalimutan. Mahal na mahal kita. Laura. When Philip returned and found her gone, his world shattered. Again. He searched for her, frantically, desperately. He used all his resources, all his connections. But Laura had disappeared without trace. Maxine, hearing of Laura's disappearance, even tried to sow doubt in Philip's mind again. See, Philip. I told you. She just used you. Now that you're healthy, now that she knows she can't get any more money from you, iniwan ka na niya. Pero si Philip hindi na naniwala. He knew Laura. He knew her heart. This wasn't about money. This was about something else. Something she was hiding from him. Months passed. Philip was a broken man, haunted by Laura's memory, given the unanswered questions. Then, one day, he received an anonymous tip. Laura had been seen in Isla de Clara. Not the luxurious, private part of the island, but in a small, remote fishing village on the other side, a place few people ever went to. He rushed there, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and fear. And he found her. She was thinner, paler, her once vibrant eyes now filled with a quiet sadness. But she was still Laura. His Laura. She was sitting on the beach, weaving small souvenir baskets out of dried palm leaves, her movements slow, deliberate. Beside her, a small, makeshift stall displayed her wares, shell necklaces, woven hats, dried fish crackers. Payapang nagtitinda, nilalabanan ang sakit. Laura, he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. She looked up, her eyes widening in shock when she saw him. Philip. Anong ginagawa mo dito? Just then, she swayed, her face suddenly ashen. She fainted, collapsing onto the sand. Philip rushed to her side, cradling her in his arms. He saw the bruises on her arms, the unnatural pallor of her skin. And he knew. He knew something was terribly wrong. He carried her to the island's small, dilapidated clinic, the same clinic where, in another story, another lifetime, Zenaida Cortez had sought refuge. The old doctor there, after examining Laura, looked at Philip with sad, knowing eyes. Leukemia, the doctor said gravely. Late stage. Wala na tayong masyadong magagawa, iho. Unless a miracle happens. A miracle. Philip looked at Laura's frail, unconscious form, and his heart broke into a million pieces. Buhay siya, si Laura. Pero siya ang mamamatay. The irony was the cruel, bitter twist of fate. But Philip refused to give up. He would fight for her. He would find that miracle. Even if it was the last thing he did. Philip refused to accept the doctor's grim prognosis. Hindi niya hahayaang mawala si Laura. Not after everything they had been through. He immediately arranged for Laura to be airlifted to the best hospital in Manila, sparing no expense, using all his connections to find the top oncologists in the country. While Laura was undergoing a battery of tests and treatments, Philip stayed by her side, a constant, unwavering presence. He held her hand during painful procedures, read to her when she was too weak to open her eyes, and whispered words of love and encouragement when she felt like giving up. Lalaban tayo, Laura, he'd say, his voice thick with emotion but firm with resolve. Hindi kita iiwanan. Hindi tayo susuko. But there was another secret Laura had been keeping, a secret even more precious, more life-altering, than her illness. One afternoon, while Philip was out consulting with the doctors, Laura's kind nurse, a warm, motherly woman named Sister Josie, was helping Laura with her bath. As Sister Josie gently sponged Laura's frail body, her eyes fell on Laura's slightly rounded belly, gentle swell that was almost unnoticeable under her loose hospital gown, but swell nonetheless. Laura, iha, Sister Josie began, her voice hesitant, may itatanong sana ako sayo. Kung okay lang. Laura looked at her, a flicker of fear in her eyes. Ano po yun, sister? Itong tiyan mo, iha, Sister Josie said gently. Buntis ka ba? Laura's eyes widened in shock, then filled with tears. She hadn't told anyone. Not even Philip. Ayaw niyang dagdagan pa ang alalahanin ito. Ayaw niyang isipin ito na ginagamit niya ang bata para itali ito sa kanya. But looking into Sister Josie's kind, understanding eyes, Laura couldn't hold it in anymore. She nodded, sob escaping her lips. Oo po, sister. Buntis po ako. Kambal po. Twins. Philip's children. Their children. A miracle, conceived in love, now threatened Gilead the shadow of death. When Philip returned, Sister Josie, with Laura's tearful permission, told him the news. Philip stared at them, stunned into silence. Kambal. He was going to be a father. To twins. With Laura. The gulat, the tekot, the lokot, they were all momentarily overshadowed by an overwhelming, unexpected wave of pag-asa. At kilig. He was going to be a father. He and Laura, they were going to have a family. He rushed to Laura's side, his eyes shining with unshed tears. Totoo ba, Laura? He whispered, his voice trembling. Totoo bang magkakaanak na tayo? Laura nodded, smiling through her own tears. Philip. Kambal. Anak mo. Anak ko. Anak natin. Philip hugged her tightly, carefully, burying his face in her hair. This is a miracle, Laura, he choked out. Isang himala. At lalo tayong lalaban. Para sa kanila. Para sa atin. The news of Laura's pregnancy and her worsening condition reached Doña Clarita. At first, she was skeptical. Angry, even. Akala niya, isa na namang panloloko ito ni Laura, isang desperadong paraan para makakuha ng simpatsya at pera. But then, she saw them. Philip, holding Laura's hand, his eyes filled with a love so fierce, so protective. And Laura, though frail and weak, her face radiant with a mother's unwavering love for her unborn children. Doña Clarita found herself visiting Laura in the hospital more often. At first, it was awkward, strained. But slowly, as she witnessed Laura's quiet strength, her unwavering faith, and Philip's unconditional love for her, Doña Clarita's heart began to soften. She saw not Laura Manlapig, the tinderer ng gulay, but a woman of incredible courage and grace. She saw not Tiki Gold Digger, but a mother fighting for her life, for her children. One day, Doña Clarita walked into Laura's hospital room, her usual stern demeanor replaced by a hesitant, almost delicate expression. She was carrying a small, velvet box. Laura, Iha, Doña Clarita began, her voice a little shaky. I know I haven't been kind to you. I misjudged you. And I am truly sorry. She opened the velvet box. Inside was a beautiful, antique pearl necklace, a Montenegro family heirloom, passed down through generations. This belonged to Philip's great-grandmother. It's meant for the woman who will carry the next generation of Montenegros. She looked at Laura, her eyes filled with newfound respect, and a mother's plea. Please accept this. As a symbol of SV apology. And I hope. For you. For Philip. And for my grandchildren. Tears streamed down Laura's face as she accepted the necklace. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of acceptance, of forgiveness, of family. The entire Giriv Mabini, upon hearing of Laura's condition and her pregnancy, rallied around her. They organized prayer vigils, fundraising events. They sent food, flowers, and messages of love and support. They were her family too. And then, a miracle. Or perhaps, the power of love, of prayer, of a mother's unwavering will to live for her children. Laura's blood test started to show improvement. A new, experimental treatment, one that Philip had tirelessly researched and fought for, was working. Slowly, painstakingly, Laura started to get better. The pag-asa in their hearts blazed brighter than ever. The kilig of the rekindled love, now amplified by the impending arrival of their twins, was the powerful, healing force. One sunny afternoon, as Laura sat in a wheelchair in the hospital garden, with Philip by her side, their hands intertwined, she felt a familiar kick from within her womb. Then another. She looked at Philip, her eyes shining. Nararamdaman mo ba yun, mahal? She whispered. Philip placed his hand on her belly, his face alight with awe and wonder. Mahal, he whispered back. Nararamdaman ko sila. Ang mga anak natin. Anak mo. Anak ko. Anak natin. They're miracle babies. They're symbols of hope. Their enduring love story that had defied death, defied social divides, and proved that sometimes, the greatest treasures are found in the most unexpected of places, in the most challenging of times. The healing had begun. And their future, once bleak and uncertain, now looked brighter, more beautiful, than they could have ever imagined. Isang taon. Isang taon ang lumipas mula noong gabing halos mamatay si Philip sa harap ng kubo ni Laura, mula noong gabing nalaman nilang may taning na ang buhay niya. Isang taon ang paglaban ang pag-asa ng mga himala. Laura was now in remission. The experimental treatment, combined with her fierce will to live for her children and Philip's unwavering love and support, had worked wonders. Hindi pa siya tuluyang magaling pero malaki na ang iginanda ng kanyang kalagayan. At ang kambal nila, si Lucio at si Luna, ay malulusog, bibo, at pinagmumulan ng walang katapusang saya sa kanilang buhay. Yee-hee-ray. Mabini became their sanctuary. Philip, with Doña Clarita's surprising blessing and financial backing, had transformed his disguised hut into a beautiful, modest home for his new family. He also started a foundation to help the local farmers and fisherfolk of Girhiv. Mabini, using his business acumen to create sustainable livelihood programs. Hindi na siya si Philip Montenegro, ang mayamang tagapagmana. Siya na si Pip, ang mahal na kaibigan at tagapagtaguyod ng kanilang munting komunidad. And today, sa harap ng buong Girhiv. Mabini, sa ilalim ng malaking puno ng mangga kung saan madalas silang magkwentuhan ni Laura noon, isang simple pero napaka-espesyal na kasalan ang magaganap. Laura walked down the makeshift easel, is path strewn with colorful bougainvillea petals, lined beside the smiling faces of the entire barangay, on the arm of Mang Kanor, the old tricycle driver who had become like father to her. She wore a simple, hand-embroidered white dress, her face radiant, her eyes shining with an unshakable love. Her twins, Locho and Luna, dressed in teeny, adorable barongs and sayas, were carried Gifjaya and Lelet, from another story, but now beloved friends and ninangs to the twins, serving as their little ring bearer and flower girl. Philip waited for her at the simple bamboo altar, his heart overflowing. He looked at Laura, at their beautiful children, at the community that had embraced them, and he knew, with a certainty that resonated deep within his soul, that this was true happiness. This was true wealth. Their vows were not flowery or rehearsed. They were simple, heartfelt promises, whispered from the heart. Laura, Philip began, his voice thick with emotion, dumating ka sa buhay ko noong akala ko, wala ng pag-asa. Ikaw ang nagbigay ng liwanag sa madilim kong mundo. Ikaw ang nagturo sa akin kung paano magmahal ulit, kung paano mabuhay ulit. Pangako, Laura, aalagaan kita, mamahalin kita, at hinding-hindi kita iiwanan, hanggang sa dulo ng walang hanggan. Philip, Laura whispered, tears streaming down her face, ikaw ang himala ko. Ikaw ang sagot sa mga dasal ko. Pinakita mo sa akin na kahit gaano pa kahirap ang buhay, basta't may pag-ibig, lahat kakayanin. Pangako, Philip, mamahalin kita, sasamahan kita, sa hirap at ginhawa, sa sakit man o kaligayahan, hanggang sa dulo ng aking hininga. They exchanged simple, handcrafted wedding rings made of intertwined kogon grass, a symbol of their simple, enduring love. And as they sealed their vows with a kiss, the entire barangay erupted in cheers and applause. May mga nagpaputok ng kwitis, may mga naghahagis ng bigas, may mga tumutugtog ng gitara. It was a true fiesta of love. During the simple reception, salo-salo of home-cooked Filipino dishes prepared by the women of Girhiv. Mabini, Philip stood up, a small, worn-out notebook in his hand. May gusto lang sana akong ibahagi sa inyo, he began, his voice a little shaky. Ito yung liham na sinulat ko para kay Laura, noong gabing akala ko, mamamatay na ako. Noong akala ko, hindi ko na siya makikita ulit. A hush fell over the crowd. Philip opened the notebook and began to read, his voice filled with a raw, heartfelt emotion. Mahal kong Laura, kung mababasa mo man to, ibig sabihin, wala na ako. Ibig sabihin, natalo na ako ng puso ko. Pero bago ako tuluyang mawala, gusto kong malaman mo ikaw. Ikaw lang ang minahal ko ng ganito. Ikaw lang ang nagparamdam sa akin na ang buhay, kahit maikli, ay pwedeng maging makabuluhan. Patawarin mo ako sa lahat ng sakit na naidulot ko sa'yo. Patawarin mo ako kung hindi ko natupad yung mga pangarap natin. Pero sana, wag mong kalimutan minahal kita, Laura. Minahal kita ng higit pa sa buhay ko. At kung mayroon mang susunod na buhay, hahanapin kita. At sa pagkakataong iyon, sisiguraduhin kong hindi na kita bibitawan pa. Mahal na mahal kita. Hanggang sa dulo. Philip. Yes, at the time Philip finished reading, everyone was in tears. Laura rushed to his side, hugging him tightly, her own tears mingling with his. Kahit bukas mawala ako, Philip, Laura whispered, her voice choked with emotion, sapat na sa akin tong ngayon. Sapat na yung pagmamahal mo. Sapat na yung pamilya natin. But Laura wasn't going anywhere. Her health continued to improve. The love of her family, the support of their community, and her own fierce will to live, they were her strongest medicine. Years passed. Locho and Luna grew up to be healthy, happy children, their laughter filling the small but love-filled home of Philip and Laura Montenegro in Mirhiv. Mabini. Doña Clarita became a doting Lola, spending her weekends in the province, spoiling her grandchildren, and surprisingly, even learning how to cook sinigang from Laura. Ang pag-ibig ni na Philip at Laura, sinubok ng tadhana, ng sakit, ng kamatayan. Pero sa dulo ng lahat, nanatili itong matatag. Isang pag-ibig na nagpatunay na kahit gaano pa kapait ang simula, basta't may pag-asa, basta't may pananampalataya, at basta't may pusong handang lumaban, laging may naghihintay na happily ever after. Hanggang sa dulo, sila pa rin. At yun ang pinakamahalaga. Mga mahal kong mambabasa, mga katim, laban lang hanggang dulo. Mula sa kaibuturan ng aking pusong minsan ay kasing gulo ng traffic sa San Rafael Market, Charot, nais kong ipaabot ang aking pinakamalaki at pinakasinserong pasasalamat sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay sa bawat kabanata ng nakakaiyak, nakakakilig, at siguradong hindi nyo inasahan na love story ni na Laura Manlapig at Philip Pipi Montenegro. Mula sa isang mayaman ka, pero mamamatay ka rin na simula, hanggang sa dulo, ako pa rin na wakas, grabe, sinamahan nyo sila, at ako, sa bawat atake sa puso, literal at figurative, sa bawat patak ng luha, at sa bawat kislap ng pag-asa. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagmamahal at sa pag-invest ng inyong oras at feels sa kwentong ito. Kayo ang tunay na himalat ng buhay ko bilang manunulat. Habang isinusulat ko ang kwentong ito, para akong laging nasa isang medical drama na maihalong rom-com, tapos naging heavy drama, tapos naging family comedy ulit. May mga eksenang gusto kong i-comfort si Laura sa bigat ng mga pinagdadaanan niya. May mga pagkakataong gusto kong bigyan ng wake-up call si Philip sa kanyang mga desisyon, pero mahal pa rin natin siya, di ba? At may mga moments na napapangiti ako mag-isa sa mga simpleng tikalabasa moments nila. Ang sarap sa pakiramdam na bumuo ng mga karakter na, kahit sinubok ng matinding karamdaman at ng mga mapanghusgang mata ng lipunan, ay nagpakita ng tunay na tapang, pagpapatawad, at isang pag-ibig na kayang lampasan ang lahat. Sa likod ng lahat ng gulat, intriga, kilig, selos, takot, pag-ibig, lungkot, pag-asa, at pagpapatawad, may ilang mahahalagang aral sa buhay na sana ay naging presetat ninyo para sa mas masayang buhay, mga mahal kong readers. Ang buhay ay maikli at walang kasiguraduhan, kaya mahalin natin ang bawat sandali. Philip's condition reminded us that every day is a gift. Huwag nating sayangin ang pagkakataon na ipakita ang ating pagmamahal sa mga taong mahalaga sa atin. Ang tunay na pag-ibig ay hindi nasusukat sa yaman o estado sa buhay, kundi sa lalim ng puso at sa tapang na lumaban para dito. Laura loved Philip not for his wealth, but for the man he was. At si Philip, natagpuan niya ang tunay na kaligayahan, hindi sa kanyang mansyon, kundi sa simpleng kubo ni Laura. Ang mga pagsubok ay parte ng buhay, pero ang mahalaga ay kung paano natin ito haharapin ng may pag-asa at pananampalataya. Kahit may taning na ang buhay ni Philip at kahit si Laura ay nagkaroon ng malubhang karamdaman, hindi sila sumuko. Lumaban sila. At sa tulong ng isa't isa at ng mga taong nagmamahal sa kanila, nalampasan nila ang lahat. Minsan, ang pinakamalaking himala ay hindi yung paggaling sa sakit, kundi yung paghilom ng puso at yung pagkakaroon ng pangalawang pagkakataon. Both. Kahit bukas mawala ako, sapat na tong ngayon. Thay. Tulungan niyo siya. Please. May inaatake sa puso. Ang sigaw ni Laura, isang masayahing tindera ng gulay sa San Rafael Market, ang pumunit sa ingay ng palengke isang umaga. Sa gitna ng mga nagtitinda, ng mga mamimili at ng mga kargador, isang lalaki ang bigla na lang bumagsak. Matangkad. Nakamamahaling damit. At ngayon, namimilipit sa sakit, hawak ang dibdib. Gulat. Takot. Pero walang nag-atubiling lumapit si Laura. She caught him just before his head hit the muddy market floor. Kuya! Kuya, anong nangyayari sa'yo? She cried, her voice laced with panic. The man just groaned, his face pale, his lips turning blue. He was clutching a small, silver inhaler, but it seemed to be doing nothing. Tulong ti. He managed to gasp out. Hindi alam ni Laura kung anong gagawin. But she knew she had to do something. Fast. Saklolo. May ambulansya ba dito? May doctor, she shouted, her voice desperate. Luckily, a barangay health worker was nearby. Mabilis na tinulungan si Laura na isakay ang lalaki sa isang tricycle at dinala sa pinakamalapit na ospital. Throughout the bumpy ride, Laura held the man's hand, whispering prayers, trying to keep him conscious. Hindi niya ito kilala, pero yung takot sa mga mata nito, yung desperasyon tumagos iyon sa puso niya. Sa ospital, it was chaotic scene. Doctors and nurses rushed the man into the emergency room. Si Laura, naiwan sa labas, basang-basa ng pawis, amoy palengke at nanginginig pa rin sa kaba. After what felt like an eternity, stern-looking woman in an expensive business suit, accompanied Gibbs' 2 bodyguards, stormed into the EHE, demanding to see Philip Montenegro. Montenegro. The name rang a bell. The Montenegros owned half of San Rafael, including the land where the market stood. When the woman saw Laura, her eyes narrowed. "And who are you?" she asked, her voice dripping with disdain. "Anong kinalaman mo sa anak ko?" Ako po, yung tumulong sa kanya sa palengke, Laura stammered. The woman scoffed. Tumulong? O baka naman, isa ka lang sa mga gold digger na umaaligid sa anak ko, hoping to cash in on his misfortune. She looked Laura up and down, her gaze lingering on Laura's simple, market-stained clothes. Magkano ang kailangan mo para umalis ka na at wag nang magpakita pa ulit? Laura felt a surge of anger and humiliation. Gold digger. Siya. All she did was help. Wala po akong kailangan sa inyo, ma'am, Laura said, her voice surprisingly firm. Gusto ko lang pong malaman kung okay na siya. The woman just laughed, a cold, humorless sound. Elvi's son will be fine. He always is. Now, if you'll excuse us, this is a private family matter. She gestured for the bodyguards to escort Laura out. Hurt and insulted, Laura left the hospital, her heart heavy. Yung mayamang lalaki na iyon si Philip Montenegro pala. Ang anak ni Doña Clarita Montenegro, ang kinatatakutang reyna ng San Rafael. A few days later, Philip, now recovering in his lavish hospital suit, couldn't get the image of the kind, pretty vegetable vendor out of his mind. Yung ngiti niya, yung tapang niya, yung paraan ng paghawak niya sa kamay niya habang papunta sila sa ospital, it was the first genuine human connection he had felt in a long, long time. He asked his mother for her name, but Doña Clarita just dismissed it. Isang hamak na tagapalengke lang yun, Philip. Kalimutan mo na siya. Pero hindi makalimutan ni Philip si Laura. A week later, much to Doña Clarita's horror, Philip Montenegro, heir to the Montenegro fortune, was seen at the San Rafael market. Not in his expensive suit, but in simple, almost worn-out clothes, his face hidden in a baseball cap and sunglasses. He was buying kalabasa from Laura's stall. Laura, busy haggling with a suki, didn't recognize him at first. Kuya, presyong suki na po yan. Sariwa yang mga kalabasa ko. Oh. Then, Philip looked up and their eyes met gulat. Intriga. At isang hindi maipaliwanag na kislap. Ilefte, Montenegro. Laura stammered, her eyes wide with disbelief. Anong ginagawa niyo dito? At bakit ganyan ang suot niyo? Philip just smiled, that same charming, enigmatic smile she remembered from the hospital. Pwede bang? Philip na lang. At nandito ako para bumili ng pinakamasarap na kalabasa sa buong San Rafael. At para makilala yung babaeng nagligtas ng buhay ko. He winked. Laura didn't know what to say. This rich, powerful man was here. For her? In disguise. Anong kalokohan to? Mayaman ka, Philip Montenegro, Laura said, her voice a mixture of confusion and a strange, unexpected excitement. Pero parang ang dami mong tinatago. Philip's smile faded slightly. Lahat naman tayo, Laura, may tinatago. Ang tanong, handa ka bang alamin kung ano ang sa akin? The challenge hung in the air. The intrigue was palpable. Laura, the simple vegetable vendor, and Philip, the enigmatic millionaire with weak heart and penchant for disguises. Their unlikely love story, born amidst the chaos of public market and the shadow of death, had just begun. Pero hanggang saan sila dadalhin ang tadhana? At ano ang mangyayari kapag nalaman ni Doña Clarita ang isekreti ng anak niya? Ang gulat at intriga nagsisimula pa lang. Philip Montenegro, in his disguised as Pip, a simple, hard-working probinsyano, started frequenting Laura's vegetable stall in San Rafael Market. At first, Laura was worried, confused. Bakit ang isang tulad niya, gugustuhing magpanggap na mahirap at makisalamuha sa mga taga-palengke? Ano ang tunay niyang motibo? Pero habang tumatagal, yung pagdududa ni Laura, unti-unting napapalitan ng paghanga. At aminin man niya o hindi ng kilig. Pip T, as he insisted Laura call him, would help her out at the stall. He'd carry heavy sacks of vegetables, though halatang hirap na hirap siya at hindi sanay, arranged the produce with surprising meticulousness, and even pierced his hand at haggling with customers, which usually ended up with Laura laughingly intervening to save him from being scammed. He was clumsy, awkward, and clearly out of his element. Pero yung effort niya, yung sincerity sa mga mata niya, yun ang tumatago sa puso ni Laura. Pip, sigurado ka bang okay ka lang dyan? Laura would ask, trying to suppress a giggle as Philip struggled to chop stubborn apo, bottle gourd, with dull knife. Baka daliri mo na ang mahiwa mo niyan, ha? Philip would just grin, wiping a bed of sweat from his forehead. Okay lang, Laura. Part 2 ng immersion ko sa simpleng buhay. Head wink, and Laura's heart would do a little flip. They would share simple lunches at the back of her stall, sinangag, tuyo, at cap. Philip, who was used to gourmet meals in 5-star restaurants, would eat with gusto, savoring every bite, listening intently as Laura talked about her dreams, her family, her simple life in Rive. Mabini, a small farming village just outside San Rafael. Alam mo, Pip, Laura said one afternoon, as they watched the sunset paint the eve in fire hues from a nearby hill overlooking the rice paddies, masaya na ako sa ganito. Simpleng buhay, simpleng pangarap. Hindi ko kailangan ng yaman o ng kung ano-anong luho. She looked at him, her eyes shining. Ikaw, Pip. Ano ng pangarap mo? Philip looked away, a shadow crossing his handsome features. Ang pangarap ko, Laura, he said softly, ay yung mabuhay ng matagal. Yung makasama yung mga taong mahal ko hanggang sa huli. There was a sadness in his voice, vulnerability that made Laura's heart ache. She wanted to ask him about his heart condition, about his life as Philip Montenegro, pero natatakot siyang baka masira yung magic ng kanilang simpleng pagkakaibigan. Pero ang di simpleng pagkakaibigan nila lalong lumalalim. Yung mga titigan nagiging mas makahulugan. Yung mga accidental na pagdikit ng mga kamay nagiging mas madalas. At yung kilig, yun ang hindi na mapigilan ni Laura. She was falling for Pip, the simple, kind, and endearingly clumsy man who made her laugh, who listened to her dreams, who made her feel special. Sa maling mundo ako na in love, Laura thought one night, as she lay in her small banig, replaying her day with Pip in her mind. Maling mundo, dahil alam niyang si Pip ay si Philip Montenegro, ang mayamang tagapagmana, ang lalaking may sakit sa puso, ang lalaking hindi para sa kanya. Then, Maxine Altamirano arrived in Mirhiv. Mabini. Maxine was Philip's ex-fiancée, beautiful, sophisticated, and oozing with an effortless, old-money elegance. She showed up one afternoon at Laura's vegetable stall, looking every inch the contrabida, in a designer dress and oversized sunglasses, stark contrast to the dusty, bustling market. "So, this is where you've been hiding, Philip darling," Maxine said, her voice dripping with sarcasm as she looked at Philip, who was awkwardly trying to arrange a pile of sitaw, string beans. "Playing farmer. How quaint." Philip stiffened, his face paling slightly. "Maxine,